go out there and ball. I don't want to
do a 6-page research paper.
We're just gonna build the platform and.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Dev.
That's the challenge.
Support equals support.
I'm trapped in New Mexico, you know, and
Stay beautiful. Stay beautiful. Stay beautiful.
That was weird, bro. There was always Julia popping up every time we came on.
Yeah, really. Hey, what's going on, guys? Devin Coach here. We just want to give our little take-see on the Myles Garrett Rudolph thing because, you know, you haven't heard 1,000 times this morning, so we're going to do that. Hey, let me know if the audio sounds okay in the chat because I've just been kind of weary of it. I don't know. I feel like something's out of sync, but it looks good, so I don't know. Anyway, but right now we're kind of looking at the game. So, Coach, you were watching the game, full game. Just give me the rundown of how it was going in terms for the Steelers. Like, how were things looking?
It was looking trash. I'm talking as a Steelers fan right now. I'm going to talk about a coach later from a coach's perspective. But as a Steelers fan right now, it wasn't a good game. Browns had some answers for that offense. They found a couple holes in the defense. But the offense kept putting them in a predicament where there was nothing that they could do but, you know, made some mistakes here where they found the Browns were able to capitalize and make some points. A lot of it had to do with Mason Rudolph. I don't know what they're developing him. He looks confused. He's missing wide receivers. They were getting pressure on the edges, and the play calling that whatever they were play calling was putting pressure on the edges. The edges, like the Villanueva was getting bullied by Myles Garrett all that night. If you watch the game, he was bull rushing him, pushing him right back into Mason a lot. A lot of confusion it looked like was going on. The Steelers couldn't get anything offensively going, and when they had the opportunities to do it, the defense gave them back the ball to go down. It was 14-7 with like 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh had the ball, 1st and 10 from their 10. Mason throws the interception. The defense goes down and they miss a field goal. They get the ball back again. Mm-hmm. Mason throws another interception. So I don't know what's going on over there. They need to develop it. But I know it's a chippy AFC North rivalry. It's going to get chippy.
It's going to get chippy. It's going to get hit, like, not per se ugly, but it gets pretty nasty.
It gets
tenacious.
nasty. A lot of things, if you're on the ground, a lot of punches, a lot of pokes to the eye. That's happening from both sides. Let's be honest.
Right.
And I just...
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest, right.
But to me, that happens. Everybody knows that those type things go on. They don't too much get out of hand. I don't know what really went that wrong, what we're going to look at right here with that. But that's pretty much how the game was going.
So we're actually going to look at this frame by frame and try and break it down and kind of come up with like something based on the footage of what we think might have happened. I'm sure as this goes on for the next couple of days, there's going to be like more information and we'll get the full story of who said what and what happened and how everybody felt. But I'm going purely off what I'm seeing and based off the information you just gave me about how the Steelers game was going up until this point with 8 seconds left in the game.
Oh, yeah. Because
that's all I can really base it off of outside of that. Now, I believe before we continue, Myles Garrett has been suspended indefinitely now. Who was the Ogunjobi for the Browns has also been suspended 2 games. And
Marquise Pouncey got 3 for the Steelers.
And then I believe Mason got a fine. Did he get a fine?
Both teams got $250,000 fine. I don't know if Mason got one yet. Last time I seen, he didn't get anything to this point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'm going to leave that one there. I thought I saw somewhere that he got the fine, but we'll see.
If somebody's out there, throw it in the chat. If you're out there and you see it.
If you're out there in the stratosphere, put that out there. Okay. So this is
here it is.
Right here, Myles Garrett breaks off the edge. I mean, look at that. Oh, it was a screen. That's why he came off. But, I mean, that's just sad, though. Like, Villanueva didn't even try to, like, bump him just to get him off there. Like, Villanueva's like, all right, I'm going out for the going out for the screen.
I think Villanueva had enough of Myles Garrett by that time.
Yeah, he, like, just kind of gave up. Like, all right, we'll just run the screen so that way we can end the game. There's only 8 seconds left.
He was bullying the shit out.
Wait a second. First, before I even continue with this, why is Mason Rudolph still throwing when you're down 14 with 8 seconds left?
Why is he even in the game?
Yeah, exactly my point. You're down 14 with 8 seconds left in the game. Why is a screen pass even happening? Just run the ball. The game is over. I mean, we could talk about how statistically improbable scoring 2 touchdowns would be in 8 seconds, but that's it. I mean, in the game of football, anybody that watches it knows how ridiculous that is to say that could happen.
That's a coaching mistake.
Yeah, and from the 10, the run and play down to from there to the end zone would take 8 seconds.
Right.
So I mean, they would need a miracle. So
coach is being dumb.
Yeah, so like I said, this play from Rip, I'm just saying, should not even happen. Why a screen? God, you put Mason in this position.
But look where he's at before he's even where we're at. Pause. They see the screen. Look where he's at right now, and he doesn't even have his arm cocked to get rid of that ball.
Yeah, right. He's not even gonna be able to throw.
He's on him. They're looking in each other's eyes right now.
Yeah, I mean, did you see how fast Garrett came back? Watch this.
Boom, right there. Boom. He's looking dead in his face.
And I gotta give props. To Rudolph here because I think he didn't even really. I think he kind of caught someone coming out of the corner of his eye. Thought he was blocked, and then he's right there. He was like, "Oh snap!"
I'm about to take one.
He's like, and watch his reaction time. Shoot, a split second, it's in that guy's hands, and he's getting hit. Now here's where it is. So, he wraps up Mason, right? And he just takes him down to the ground here, and I believe in other. Let's watch it again here. So right there, he grabs a hold of him. Right there's Garrett grabbing a hold of him. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it doesn't look like it's a throw to the ground because usually when they do that, the quarterback lands in the bottom, and that's actually isn't that the big rule? I think that's why at first it wasn't no one threw a flag on it. I guess because he was just taking him to the ground, even though he didn't have the ball, he didn't have to, but he didn't land on the quarterback. I think that was the key there. Now, what I saw from another angle that I don't think we see here is I do believe that once he grabbed him, Mason got an arm out and was in his face mask okay, so he puts him down here, and then that's when Myles Garrett's trying to let go. It looks like Mason's kind of poking back at his helmet or something, or grabbing hold of his helmet, because that's how this whole thing starts. He touches the helmet. And then Myles is like, oh, yeah? And then he goes and rip his helmet off here. I got to, again, give Myles Garrett
he tackled Rudolph.
2 guys, they weren't really pushing, though. I was going to say, there's 2 guys on top of him. And
there's no props given to this motherfucker. He lost his cool, bro.
Yeah.
Look at that right there. I don't care if he's ripping off his helmet.
Well, he tackled Rudolph. Rudolph didn't like the way that he was
tried to rip off his helmet. If you see the angle that I've seen, we don't have that angle, but there is an angle showing that he was ripping at his helmet. Mm-hmm. He was ripping his mask. He had his hand in the back of his helmet, and it was wiggling it, trying to get it off.
Oh,
yes. What Mason was doing.
Rudolph didn't like the way that he was tackled.
Everything
was
I think
right here is what really started it was which, yeah, you're right. No, I mean, I'm saying Myles Garrett's in the wrong for using the helmet as a weapon here.
Right.
But, I mean, look at Rudolph, though. As soon as someone's, touching him, saying, hey, let it go, man, whatever, the Castro's there, this man just jumps up I'm going to fight you. That's how he looks. He's, coming at him. He's trying to get a hold of him. And then he's get away from me. And then that's where, this whole thing really pretty much was over. And then this guy's, looking for a flag. Well, this is funny. This ref is just kind of, chilling here. Trying to break it up, right? Look, he's just and then he hits him. The ref, is he getting out the flag now, or is that just the Steelers yellow points?
Oh, man. Oh.
He's watching it. He's
watching it. Yeah, he's
bouncy.
Was he clapping there? He's hey, let's go, guys. He's all right, we got to fight here. We got to show.
That's the armchair referees out there.
Yeah, that's
how they would
That's fake hockey right there.
That's fake hockey. You got to throw the flag on it. Yeah, all of that, when people give the excuse, the toughness, he was being tough. Yeah, he shouldn't have did anything. Mason shouldn't have did anything. He should be penalized. I get all that stuff. Nobody's saying that. But to deflect to say nothing happened to Mason, that's something that happens between quarterbacks and linemen all game, every game. Mm-hmm. They're always at each other. They're always when they're taking shots. I mean, it's just part of the game. Yeah. Not even quarterbacks and linemen. All players do it all game. Right. Nothing Mason did would get him suspended.
Right.
From that point up to when, even if he got up tough, his people, who cares?
Right.
What he said, once he whipped the helmet off, he should have took that helmet. I don't care if he went over to the stands and gave it to one of the stands and took that fine.
Yeah.
Which would have been smarter. Which would have been funnier.
Yeah,
if you would
funnier.
have gave it to a fan and that fan dipped out with it.
Yeah, right, because that would have been sweet.
That would have been an awesome story. But
yeah, I mean,
whatever happened, Garrett just didn't. He just lost it.
Yeah, these guys are just punching him in the head. He's covering up his head. Well, the punches came. That's when they threw the flag. Like, not all the stuff before, but as soon as he started taking a punch, like right here, that's when the flag came. And it was very late. Like, all right, there it is. Okay, now here's the angle where I was seeing it is like Mason Rudolph
goodness.
turns here.
Oh, we do have this.
Yes, we do. So like right here, Mason Rudolph starts grabbing his head. Like Myles Garrett is trying to get up here. I'm guessing Mason's saying something to him right here, right? Because he's going down, and right. Okay, well, let's come down here a little bit more.
Right here is when.
Right, not right there. Right here. He starts grabbing his helmet. And trying to like almost grab his helmet and rip it off, and then these guys kind of coming over top of him. Like the other guys, like I think Garrett thought he was in a fight mode right here because like these guys start pushing him some more.
They know. There's no fight. They know exactly.
Rips the helmet off.
Look at
Rudolph's
him.
Now
head,
that-
All he had to
and
do was
then
let go of his
swings
helmet.
it and hits
The
him.
Castro's talking to
head.
him that whole time, saying, "Come on, chill, game's over." That type shit. Chill. He's taking it to another level.
Right.
He has to take responsibility for that.
Right, with the hit. But you're trying to tell me.
And eventually-
Okay, so like right here, if Mason Rudolph does not come after Myles Garrett right here, right? He just gets up and just be like, it says something to him, right? Instead of like
swings it
literally
and
coming
hits
at
him.
this man and like almost attacking
the
him.
head.
Because I think the other angle. Hold on. Because you're telling me that if Mason Rudolph does not
Eventually
come at
swings-
Myles Garrett right here,
Is
right?
he gonna go seek him out? No.
No, exactly my point. But
what's the point in that?
Right,
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
I'm saying if Mason Rudolph doesn't come at him, the helmet hit doesn't even
So
happen.
you're saying,
I'm
okay,
saying-
Mason Rudolph should be suspended indefinitely then?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay. So what are you saying?
I'm just saying that when we're talking about the blame of this issue, right?
There's no. The blame of the issue is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Mason does. He's getting what he deserves.
Hold on, Mason Rudolph. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think we're thinking about this two different ways. Mason Rudolph comes down, right? He wraps him up. Yeah, maybe that wasn't whatever. But to me, whenever I see someone wrap you up, take you to the ground, it's the end of the game or whatever. Like I don't know. When I see the pass rusher versus like quarterback mentality, like I sweat, like like them guys are texting each other saying like, hey, I'm gonna get you this week and blah 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 and whatever.
Out, shit like that.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I bet, because I've seen interviews with Derek Carr where he talks about the Khalil Mack rivalry stuff and like whenever they'd see each other, like they would do that, like he'd grab him and like take him to the ground with him, like, and it didn't look like it was like he slammed him on the ground when he took him down. But Mason, I'm guessing based on how the game was going, very frustrated with how everything was going up until that point. And then, of course, Myles just does that thing, maybe just, I don't know what it was, maybe playfully, maybe angrily, whatever. It takes him down to the ground. And then Mason just basically has it at this point because he's just had a hell of a game. I mean, the 4 picks, you guys are losing in a primetime game. And, that maybe there's conversations about how his play is. Even though me and it's the coaching. Maybe they're talking to him like, man, you got to play better. They're saying to Mason, you got to play better or something. And he's just frustrated up at this point. And then he comes back at Myles and gets like that. Myles takes the helmet, which obviously no-go, right? Even though he was ripping at your helmet in your face whenever you came down, you shouldn't have just ripped the dude's helmet off like that, like basically snapping his neck. Right. But then the whole confrontation, I think, could have ended there had Mason just got up, right? And instead of like coming at Myles Garrett here, which he clearly does, and I don't know if we have that angle either. But in this, there's a shot where you see Mason like trying to like take hits at Myles. Like, was it right here? Like right as the helmet hits?
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
So I'm just saying
trying
that
to
confrontation.
What the point is pointing that
right.
out.
What the point of pointing that out is that the whole thing was instigated. I'm just saying it was instigated. The hit was totally unnecessary with the helmet. Totally unnecessary. Did not need to happen. Myles Garrett lost his cool. I'm saying that the whole incident could have been avoided and was instigated by Mason Rudolph. Had he not come up there and basically came at Myles Garrett after that had happened and tried to like basically because he took hits at him. Like I don't think we have the video angles.
Well,
but
if you're
attempted.
saying that, we
Right.
have to go with you got to start the thing at even though he didn't slam him to the ground. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. He put him on the ground and he know he didn't have the ball and he could have just let him go. So that's a little instigating.
Absolutely. I mean, this is multiple game suspension right here. It's just
okay. So you have to go to that then. Which one? Like even if the scuffle got to that point, he gets up and he goes to that. To me is just has like, I get it when people want to say, okay, well, when we're pointing that out, we're saying, okay, it would have never went that far. Mason's the one that started this for that to happen.
Right.
Okay, but what's the point in that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, when I see that, like when I see the going down the ground thing, like to me, it's not that big of a deal. Like that's
Either
football.
is what Mason did.
Right,
It's
not
normal football shit.
Right, and then he took it to that limit. But I'm saying that Mason comes in, and basically comes at him like he did. Whenever that's what pretty much brought the helmet swing. Because I really think that Myles would have not have even done anything had it was just DeCastro and them sitting there saying, "Hey man, like give this up," blah blah.
No, if he walked away there and he went after him, that's just pure psycho right there. He wouldn't be playing in the football no more. He wasn't gonna do any of that. I totally agree on that.
Yeah, right. Until Mason came at him.
I just say, but it's
time.
just normal things.
Right.
This happens every game in tough rivalries. Something like this happens, and nobody. That's what the only point I'm trying to get at. I totally agree with people saying Mason played a part in it. Mason should be punished. All I'm saying is we can't use that to deflect normal shit that happens in football games to say, oh, it wouldn't have happened if Mason didn't do that. No, that man went nuts and hit him with a helmet. That's the focus we should be looking at.
Well, no. I am saying to you, Coach, that I see that, and he should be suspended indefinitely.
Right.
I am just pointing out that I don't think Garrett would have hit him with the helmet had he not come at him. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And I'm just saying that, like,
point made.
Right.
But what's the? I'm trying to understand what the value in that point is.
The value is to me.
Everybody knows
the value is to me that the helmet thing is like, it was like the level above that, like no one should cross, right?
Right.
But then you have Rudolph, who was like comes at him, while the situation was about to be diffused. In that sense. So what I'm saying is that, are we saying that Mason? Of course, Mason had a part in it. You both agree on that, right? Yeah. I'm just saying that he also did something that isn't normal for the football game, where he started a fight, which would have got him, which was pointless at 8 seconds left. But both of them ejected for it, because the whole thing was that both of them were back and forth. And I don't think Mason gets suspended, because that just don't make sense to me. Maybe if it was a suspension like a game, because he was like, the whole start of it was pretty much from rip. Garrett, even if Garrett, to me, like I said, like I saw it as like, Garrett was just like, we win, and like grabbed him and like took him down the ground or whatever. Like, no hurting him, no none of that, just what it is, right? But even if Garrett shouldn't have done that anyway, because, you can't, even if you're just having fun, those refs will throw a flag or what have you. It's the NFL. You just got to keep your cool with that kind of stuff or whatever, and just wrap up the game, finish.
Yeah, so, I mean, overall, he shouldn't have been out on the field anyway. Mason shouldn't have been on the field. He's having a horrible game. You could see it all game that things were boiling up with him. He was yanking at his helmet coming off the field, the passes he was missing, the inner things. I mean, there's no sense on him being out there. There's no sense on this thing. And if we're going to go all the way back and say, okay, this would have never happened if Mason didn't do this. This would never happen if Mason wasn't on the field.
This wouldn't have happened. Well, that's why I think we started with that.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the truest
There's a
of the
whole bunch of those things. I just don't want that to be overshadowed, because that's what everybody's saying. Everybody are coming up with reasons to say, oh, it wouldn't have happened if he didn't do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to nobody. If you do anything, if this was a court thing that turned into a court thing, the judge is not going to say, you know what I mean? That's the wrong message to send the kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind of like that. It's saying like, you can't, just because if he didn't do that, I'm able to, because that's what it kind of seems like to people, because they're so like persuasive on saying Mason started it. But they're not saying anything added on to that. Dude was way off bus, but Mason should be held accountable too.
Right.
They're not saying that. They're just saying Mason started it.
Yeah, Mason started. It's his fault. Which again, like I said, I think it's just a level of instigation, because Myles Garrett probably did a gesture that. Oh, and I want to read out this comment from our guy Courtney Clark. Shout out to you, Courtney. Love you, buddy. He says Myles was definitely in the wrong, but Mason was antagonizing him. Still should not have hit the dude with his own helmet. Yeah,
I think the whole country agrees upon that.
Right.
But I want to hold the little. I want to go past. Now I want to talk as a coach.
The rest of the year as well, in my opinion. Oh, really? For what? The punches and everything after that?
Yeah, they would never do that.
I wasn't looking at what happened with Pouncey at that.
He stomped on his head, but he had his helmet on. So they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They're not going to
Well,
suspend
did they
him
do
all year.
anything for Ndamukong Suh? Remember when Ndamukong Suh like stepped on Rayola's ankles?
I think he got suspended for a little while.
Yeah,
I think it was like a couple games. But this right here, they would never suspend Pouncey. One, we already know it's a protect the quarterback lead. They're a league. They're looking at what Pouncey. Nobody in that office, owner-wise or anything, would say suspend. Besides maybe the Cleveland Browns, would say, "Oh, Pouncey's got to be suspended that long," because that's normal behavior from him. I mean, for a lineman to protect this quarterback, especially if he doesn't have a helmet on. They would never go that far with Pouncey. I don't think he deserves to be suspended for a year. I thought maybe he'd get 1 or 2. I knew they were going to throw something at him just to set an example. But they're in the room like they're probably like all the people that are in the NFL Office Player Association are good job, Pouncey and
Right. I mean, because they're standing up for the team and stuff like that.
QB.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, and then you have Ogunjobi comes in and like throws Mason down after
to
that
the
whole
ground,
thing. Yeah. And but this is the part I just didn't want to get away from. This is what I wanted to kind of conclude from my perspective, was that you have Mason Rudolph, you have Myles Garrett, who probably, like I said, I think, and I don't know the intention, but in like that game, that manner of I'm taking you to the ground, the game's over, I got you, like haha kind of thing. And then Mason kind of took it and I don't know because like I said, I don't think Myles has made a statement yet that I've heard, but they took it in that way. Mason was already angry and frustrated from just the whole game experience of being out there 4 quarters, and it's just being like, being the detriment to the team at that point, right? Which again, me and you have already established that is not all on Mason Rudolph. It's just some poor offensive coaching decisions by the Steelers. And of course, the other option was that he's still out there. But because of that, it was like a back and forth where everything got to like a level where it finally just climaxed, where like Myles does that. Mason's mad, so he pulls at the helmet. Pisses Myles off, so Myles takes it, rips his helmet off. Mason comes around to go hit him. Myles takes the helmet and boops him over the head. Then the whole entire team gets involved, So, and in a nutshell, what I think, all I was really saying was that this whole thing is obviously Myles just took it too far because nothing like a fight. It's not like we haven't seen a fight before in football,
Right.
But I think Myles took it too far with the helmet hit, obviously, because that's like you could like kill somebody with that.
Yeah, you could kill somebody hitting them in the head with a helmet. To me, what I'm saying is who got 3 games? Courtney, you saying Pouncey did? Yeah, he got 3 games. Unless you were saying that you seen something on Mason.
No, that's what I think he's saying is Pouncey threw multiple punches, then kicked him in the head multiple times. I think he got 3 games.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he got. He got 3. I was wondering, was that the difference between Pouncey, or maybe he answered the question about when we asked about Mason? That's
like I said.
But okay, I totally get everything. Everything what people are saying is right, but it's not being said right.
They're defending it. They're defending it in a sense where they're saying like it's all Mason's fault. It's all this person's fault. And I'm just saying no. Like it was clearly like these guys' fault that it just even got to this point. Like nobody should have came at nobody. And then again, Myles took it too far, and that's why I believe he needs to be suspended indefinitely until at least next season. I mean, that's just
so they
a fact.
figure it out because I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. It's just me now. I'm going to speak as a coach now. Steeler, out of that, people are saying that as being a Steeler fan, this is why. I get it. A Steeler, like Steelers are hated in the thing, and a lot of people go back and forth with all these things. I think it's kind of funny at times, but these are one of these serious moments. Like, as a coach, to be honest, I don't care what happened. You go that far with Myles Garrett, and I know in the NFL it's totally different. Coaches don't really have a decision on that. Like, not all coaches, maybe Belichick.
Rips the helmet off Rudolph's head and then eventually swings it and hits him in the head.
You can't do that, man. I don't care what happens.
And then Ogunjobi comes up and hits Rudolph from behind.
Football stuff. Normal football, antagonizing, intimidating, They do it all game. They're talking crazy to each
Beyond
other.
words,
and
Joe.
this just
Gosh,
makes
that's
me
one of the
fall.
worst things I've
but
ever
in
seen
saying
on a
that,
professional sports
me
field.
is where
You know,
I have
Joe,
a
I would have been
problem
involved with these in the league office, and it would come to officiating first and then go upstairs for discipline. But this is beyond the normal discipline. This is beyond the normal fine. I think you're absolutely right. It's a foul period to take a guy's helmet off and swing it and use it as a weapon. Automatic ejection by rule.
You can see their veins when they're on the sideline because of the mistakes they're making. Why put him out in that part in that part of the game? So I think as a coach, you got to
Coming out of this,
Matt,
there may be suspensions. That's right, suspensions.
Mason give those Tom Brady S5s with the
Wow.
rips the snap.
He was ripping it all game, ripping. So you see something's going to happen. But this is the greatest thing about this.
And it was Garrett.
The Browns, if I was Myles Garrett, whatever
That was
happened, you guys
well
would
after the
hate
play.
him. Steelers were out there whooping his ass, and all the Browns were still on the sideline. They didn't come off the sideline and help.
Yeah, right. So
Like, I'm pissed right now, even though you screwed up. Look at that right there. Where are all the Browns?
Here it is.
Yeah, right. It's like the defense is like, oh, I'm staying out. Half of them like, I'm staying out of this. So maybe like this thing. Remember how we were talking about like the Browns like being a dream team? Like, this is what I'm talking about. This one says. Remember we talking about the
Well, he
Browns,
tackled
like, being
Rudolph.
like a dream
Rudolph
team
didn't
this
like the
year.
way that he was tackled.
Oh,
gosh. Oh, man.
Are they really together as a team as we thought they
Oh,
were?
my
Because it looks like
goodness.
the only person that came to Miles' defense was like, who was it?
Once the
helmet
sideline
off
clear,
Rudolph's
everybody's
head.
out there. You don't listen to
Off
it.
from
I would
behind.
never tell my players.
Ogunjobi. Who's number 90, whatever here? He looks like he's trying to be the voice of reason. Hey man, just get off him,
Beyond
like,
words, Joe.
let's stop
Gosh,
this.
that's one
I
of the
give
worst things I've ever
Castle.
seen on a professional sports field.
You know, Joe, I would have been involved with these in the league office, and it would come to officiating first and then go upstairs for discipline.
Get
But
the sleeper hold on.
this is beyond the normal discipline. This is beyond the normal fine. I think you're absolutely
Oh,
right.
sorry.
It's
My
a foul
apologies.
period to take a guy's helmet off and swing it and use it as a
We had
weapon.
the audio for the video still up. My apologies. I'll turn that back down.
Oh, so it was playing the whole time.
Well, the audio was playing. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had it playing just till now, so I just turned it back down.
Okay, so yeah, but either way, man, they got it. Just like the Browns, like what I said, I think they got it out of Baker finally. Is that he went in cocky. I got these weapons, and he didn't step up and actually do the work you have to do.
Yeah,
you
right.
got Odell Beckham coming in. You should be throwing the ball with Odell Beckham.
Oh, they weren't doing that stuff?
They weren't doing those
Yeah.
things, and he was not communicating with them and Jarvis and saying, "Hey, how can we do this?"
Really? They never had that talk?
They
Wow.
never had like in-depth talks. Wouldn't you have that
No,
if you got that?
I mean, if I'm a quarterback of my team, right? Like, and I get weapons, I'm gonna be like, let's work on this, let's perfect our route running, let's get in sync, right? That way, if you give me a look, I know your body movement, your body language, how I know the ball needs to come your way right now, without even, with just a look at the defense and then a glance at where you're at, I can tell that you can make the catch.
In these last couple of weeks, though, obviously, like that's just to answer your question, is saying that because I thought the Browns would be way better. I thought they'd be way better polished than this. But once I seen that interview last night, that he in-depth one he did, and they finally was like coming out and not being a cocky prick and saying, "Look, this is where I fucked up at." He came out and said that I respect that for them, and then they won these last two games against two very tough defenses.
Yeah.
He did just enough to win. So
I like how you said that. Defenses, because
the offenses are
like,
trash.
garbage.
The Bills and the Steelers' offense are trash. Now I'm back to the Steelers fan. Tomlin better do something because he's pissing me off. I think that would have never happened if he would have told him out there. I noticed when my kids when a player coaching even kids, I noticed when I got to get that kid out of there.
Yeah,
'Cause
especially if he's
gonna do
angry. If he's pissed off and stuff, he's going to make bad decisions.
Yeah.
And like you just give him the time to cool off, and then you put Duck Dynasty out there.
Put Ducky in.
Put Ducky in.
Here brings in one more fact, too. I talked about this earlier. I think the way that this just changed everything, my whole outlook on everything. Roethlisberger will be back, lifted a grown man off the ground. Who is he talking about?
He said Miles, and that was what I was saying to you earlier. I said, I got to give kind of credit here because Miles just ripped this grown man's helmet off with one arm. I was just saying in the strength department, like he just went in and was like, boom.
Yeah.
And there was like two guys like kind of pushing on him. He's just like, all right, hold on, let me just do this quick.
Right.
Like.
Look, that audio he's telling us all that. You can't hear me.
Well, no, yeah, we fixed it, though. It was because that's what he said, background video, because I had the audio for this on. So whenever it was playing, it was louder than our voices.
Oh,
So that's why I just muted it, and now like it can play, and we can hear us. Like we can just play it.
But interesting, outside of all this, I think everybody got what they deserve. I think Mason should be held accountable. I don't see a suspension in there for Mason. There's nothing you can't get for antagonizing somebody. That's just like you can't get in trouble for antagonizing somebody. You can't. You go to court and somebody could sit there and say, "Well, he was in my face antagonizing me, and then I hit him."
Right, exactly.
You're gonna get the thing, and nothing's gonna happen to him.
Right, yeah.
I think he deserves something out of this, whether it's from the Steelers or a fine or whatever. But off of that, just watching the game, I just wanted to say one thing about the Steelers moving forward. There's a lot of work that they have to do. They blew an opportunity right there. I think this opens the door, changed my whole outlook on this bad game. I think is really exposed who Mason is. I think he's nowhere ready. I think my whole thing changes where Ben will be at next year. He'll still be there. And I honestly think they're going to look at a real deep look at Kaepernick on Saturday. And it possibly could be something. What direction?
Didn't they say Kaepernick was the forerunner for them? And what was the other football team involved in their Bengals? No, was it? I think it was Bengals. I actually do think it was Bengals.
I don't know.
It was Bengals and Steelers, which is weird to me because AFC North. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a change of scenery for Colin Kaepernick. You have, this is, this area, Pennsylvania, as a state, is, conservative. And you want to bring, and in Ohio, you want to bring him into that market? Because he was out in San Fran, which is a more progressive market,
Yeah, he goes to Pittsburgh, though. But he'd be all right in Pittsburgh. Even the Trump supporters are going to be like, hey, forget that kneeling if you win.
Yeah, right.
We're not gonna bash you anymore. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, man. I just think it exposed him very clearly, and it showed here you can't lose your cool here in this type of thing too from Mason too. If you know what I mean, you had a bad game. You're going to have these games. That is fucking hilarious. He was all on him, and then he hit him with that
bang,
helmet.
and he's like, "Help me!" He threw his hands up, and then what's even worse is I think what made it even worse though was Ogunjobi hit him. Watch, he comes up, hit him like you want to fight? Cool. Okay, we're not fighting no more. I need. Where's the flag? Boom. Where's the flag?
There should have been.
I still think it's crazy the flag came in so late. It was like never mind, there it is.
That's the armchair referees doing this game, man.
Yeah, it's there's a fake hockey. He's looking at all right.
It takes Chip to come in a little
later. All right, let me
later.
just see this a little bit. Let me just watch this.
Look, he throws a flag. Yeah, that was wild, man. These motherfuckers. This is just uncalled for in football. It sends a crazy message to what's going on right now.
Oh, there it is. Okay, now we can throw the flag. I don't know what he's waiting for. What was the cue? All right, you guys get 2 punches. After the third, it's automatic flag.
I was I'm just watching. I ain't throwing no flags. It's the end of the game. I'm going to watch this fight.
From what it sounded like, this wasn't a very good game for the Steelers, so this might have been the most entertaining thing for Steelers fans all night, I guess, in that regard. Even though they did. Yeah, offensively.
Yeah. There was some good defensive plays, but offensively they were trash.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the helmet bash, I would have had a ball watching this. Bench is clear and they're just rumbling.
Yeah, right.
That's fun. Yeah. There's sometimes you get in a bar fight. You know what I mean? It just happens sometimes. But at the end of it, you guys just lick your wounds and then say, "I'll see you in 2 weeks."
It's because
they got to play again.
It was like the Michael Crabtree Aqib Talib thing. That fight that happened on that Monday night game. Was that Monday or no? It was a Sunday. It was a Sunday afternoon game. We were watching it, Denver, 2 years ago. And I just remember when they got in that fight because it was bad because Derek Carr just got hurt out for the season. And they were about to go to playoffs, and they had to use Matt McGloin. That was a horrible, horrible game. Horrible.
Yeah, you watched it.
Horrible.
He's a Penn State guy.
But Aqib, I like Matt McGloin. He's the reason why in the WWE football league that they're gonna have here, I'm gonna be cheering for the Giants just because Matt McGloin's their backup, their starting quarterback.
Okay.
Because I was a Matt McGloin fan when he played for the Raiders and when I watched some of Penn State and whatnot. So I'm riding the McGloin train, I guess. But, so I don't know where I was going with that.
The Talib Khalid.
Oh, yeah, that fight. And I just remember it because, Aqib Talib took his chain. I was like, that's some bullshit. I was pissed, get him. And then Michael Crabtree, got him, was, hitting him. They went down, the opposite end zone, started, fighting. And then, like I said, I was I tweeted later on, I was like, Michael Crabtree won that fight, but we lost the game.
Yeah, you lost the game. Question, though, before we head out of here. I posted this to everybody that's been crying and really just basically Steeler bashing instead of saying what really went on. I've only had a couple conversations with people that actually had a normal, like, yeah, this is what this is this. They said it both ways. If this was same scenario happened to Derek Carr, what are you saying the next day? Let's be 100% honest. What would your first reaction be?
Well, for one, it depends on how Derek handled it, right? I couldn't see Derek handling it this way, but we're saying for the hypothetical situation, Derek handles it this way, right?
No, forget who he is. Just say this happened the same exact way.
Okay, same exact way. Well, I mean, obviously, I'd be damn pissed at Myles Garrett. You know, I'd definitely be like, he's gone. Suspend him. He hit my quarterback. But I would be pretty fucking pissed because, well, for two reasons. One, because Derek's would go out if Derek's approached him like that, I'm gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, don't get yourself hurt over this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just don't. Right? But then at the same time, I'd be pissed at. I'm mega pissed at Garrett because that's good. If you hurt Derek Carr and fuck up the good season we're having right now, oh man, I'd be jacked because if Derek got hurt again like before postseason, oh man, it'd break my heart. It'd break into a million pieces.
But would on the breakdown, the next thing, would you still make the point of, yeah, see, look, Derek did this.
Oh yeah,
Derek,
absolutely.
I don't think so.
You would have to because whenever someone says why, maybe it's just me because like I'm a very empiricalist kind of person. Like I look at why everything.
What does that mean?
Like empirical evidence. So like I look at how things happen before they like happen. So like and I believe things based upon evidence, and the evidence really points that had both these guys just not kept coming at each other and like doing what they did, you know, like I said, because I think really Myles Garrett started it, and then they instigated it, and then it just boiled over to a point.
Yeah,
of
it
where
was a
shouldn't have
whole
gone.
game full of bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if it's Derek though, like I'm kind of mad at you a little bit just because I don't want you to get hurt, you dumbass. Like why are you fighting with this man? Like, you know, like I don't know. Like to me, I'd be a little upset about that. But I'd be definitely more upset that Myles Garrett hit him with a helmet because, you know, if you hurt him like that and like you give him a concussion or kill my quarterback, like.
I just think it's very large. That's the interesting fact that I came through by talking with people. I think it's very hard for people to separate being a fan of the team or the fan of the game. And
Right.
it's very small percentage of people that can do that. They're automatically going to say, I'm a Steelers fan, Myles Garrett, Mason did nothing wrong, or the other way around.
Right, Cleveland's like, Myles did nothing wrong. Mason was all in the wrong here. And it's just because a lot of people that aren't Steelers fans, they're obviously going to go in the other direction of the not Steelers fans.
Right, but what I'm saying is like not just being a fan of a team, but a fan of the game and the disrespect that it shows from everybody that was involved in there. Besides, I really can't get mad at Pouncey because when it goes down, if you just hit my dude, that shows me. Yo, in real life, if you hit one of my people, like in that type of, we're rumbling. Right. That's how I look at that.
Right. And no, like I said, I really, truth be told, like I don't blame like any like the third party people like Ogunjobi, DeCastro, who was the other one you said, Pouncey. I don't blame any of those guys at that point because once it got to that point, someone's got to like put Myles Garrett down, like get him down on the ground because he's obviously not listening to you saying, hey, like, you know, just chill out. Again, you know, Rudolph's charge of him at there didn't help that, but like I said, I think it could have been maybe dissolved, but, you know, but after that happens, when the helmet hit comes, you got to dissolve it. So some people got to start getting hit.
It's a rumble.
People got to start getting hit, is all I'm saying.
Rumble, yeah.
All right, well, guys, I'm glad you dropped in, Courtney, and anybody else that dropped in to stop by and watch this little video we did. Hope you guys are doing well and taking care of yourselves. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Who do you think won this whole little spiel, and do you think people got what they deserved? Coach, you have anything else to add to that?
No, that's it. Go Steelers. We'll be back. See you in 2 weeks.
Yep, go Raiders.